Hello and welcome to channel Venus. We are here again to study Julius Caesar, and we were in Act 1, Scene 2, and it was line number 253 where we had left, and we are going to continue from line number 254. Alright, now we've seen that Brutus, Cassius and Casca, they are talking to each other, and Casca, he's telling them that yes, Caesar had fallen down in the marketplace after he refused the crown, and because at that point the people started shouting and there was a lot of stinking breath, and Caesar could not tolerate it. It almost choked Caesar, he said, for he swooned and fell down at it. And for mine own part, I durst not laugh for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air. So this one, Casca, we find he tells exactly whatever has happened to the point, and he tries to be very truthful. He just is making things clear to them, that is, this is what has happened. Cassius now says, but soft, I pray you, what did Caesar swoon? That is, swoon means he had fallen down. Caesar had fallen down, he had fainted. With the Cassius, he is a bit like a very jealous sort of a friend of Caesar, and he says, what, did he swoon? That is, did he faint? Did I hear you correct? Oh God, he is supposed to be a very great person, and Caesar falling down and fainting, good Lord, that's what he meant. So Casca says, he fell down in the marketplace and foamed at the mouth and was speechless. So he says that yes, he has fallen down in the marketplace, and he was he has foamed from his mouth, and he was speechless. He had fainted. Okay, so with that, Brutus says, it is very like, that is, yes, there is a probability, because he had the following sickness. So actually, Julius Caesar, he suffers from epilepsy or the following sickness, and Brutus simply reminds them of that. But Cassius, he says, no, Caesar doesn't have the falling sickness. It is you and I and Casca. We have the falling sickness. He is trying to be a bit, that sort of a person who says, oh, he is not that type. We have to have the falling sickness, because why is he saying so? That is, he is trying to imply that they are being crushed under Caesar's power of dominance. Caesar is dominating to that extent that they are simply down with the falling sickness. They are actually on the verge of falling down, or it seems that they have the falling sickness. They have developed the falling sickness because of Caesar. Cassius says, no, Caesar hath it not, but you and I and honest Casca, we have the falling sickness. Casca says, I know not what you mean by that, but I'm sure Caesar fell down. If the tag-rag people did not clap him and hiss him, according as he pleased and displeased them, as they used to do the players in the theatre, I am no true man. That is, this is exactly what had happened there. And if the tag-rag people, that is the common people there, if they did not clap at him and hiss him, and they simply helped to bring him back to his senses, and Caesar, he was acting accordingly. That is, in this case, we have to understand that Caesar also has the ability. He usually does it of being a bit theatrical. He sometimes acts things out. Okay, so according as he pleased and displeased them, as they used to do the players in the theatre, I am no true man. Well, this is exactly what had happened, and if anything else had happened, then of course I am not your man. This is exactly what had happened there in the marketplace. Brutus said, what said he when he came unto himself? That is, when he regained consciousness. When Caesar regained consciousness, Brutus is asking, that is, what did he say then? Casca says, Mary, before he fell down. Mary is again, he is swearing that in the name of Virgin Mary, that is, before he fell down, what he does, when he perceived the common herd was glad he refused the crown, he plucked me off his doublet. He fell, he perhaps, with the people shouting, Caesar feels that they are perhaps very happy that he has received the crown, that he has refused the crown. And with that, he pulls Casca, and he asked Casca to open his doublet. Doublet is a jacket sort of thing which he was wearing, so that his throat becomes open to them, and so that they can slit it. They can just cut it. And with this is again a bit theatrical, a bit. It is more like an acting, rather. So, and offered them his throat to cut. Okay, and had I been a man of any occupation, if I had been a man of occupation, if I had been an ordinary laborer, occupation, the laborers, that is, we've seen men of occupation, different occupations were there. The carpenter was there, the cobbler was there, and there were many other men also belonging to different occupations. So he says that if I had been a man, and I had been a man of any occupation, that is, if I had been a man of any occupation, I would not have taken him at a word. So I might go to hell among the rogues. So he fell. That is, if I am telling you something which is not happening, I might go to hell among the rogues. And so he fell. So Caesar fell. When he came to himself again, that's the question Brutus had actually put to him. That is, what did he say when he came back to his senses? So when he came back to himself again, he said, if he had done or said anything amiss which is not proper, he desired their worships to think it was his infirmity. So he desired their worships, their highnesses. So Caesar, being the highest portfolio there, in fact, he is telling that he wants their highnesses, he wants their worships to pardon him, to think it was his infirmity. That is, it was his sickness that has forced him to act in that way. 3 or 4 ventures where I stood, cried aloud, alas, good soul, and forgave him with all their hearts. But there's no heed to be taken of them. You need not bother. If Caesar had stabbed their mothers, they would have done no less. That is, they have the capacity. If Caesar has stabbed their mothers, then they are in a position to exactly pay back and do the same thing to Caesar. So Brutus says, and after that he came thus sad away. So Caesar is wearing a very sad look as he is coming away from the Feast of Lupercal, and as he is coming away from the games. So what is the reason that he is wearing such a sad look? That's because he has refused the crown. He did not accept the crown, and each time, he refused it. He must have felt very bad at heart, because actually he was fighting for the crown. He won the crown, and that was just something that he was trying to show, that he is not interested. And definitely with that the crowd shouted, and Caesar felt that the crowd, they are feeling very happy that he has refused the crown. And with that, he fell down and fainted. He started foaming from his mouth, and he fainted. Well, after that, when he comes back to his senses, Caesar says that if he has said something which is not proper, which is not correct, he wants them to think that it was due to his health disability or his sickness, that he has been forced to behave in that way. Brutus says, and after that he came thus sad away. Casca, aye. Cassius, did Cicero say anything? Aye, he spoke Greek. Cassius, to what effect of Cicero? He is an orator, he is a senator, he is an orator, he is a good orator, he talks very well, and he speaks Greek very well also. So, aye, he spoke Greek. So Cassius says, to what effect? Nay, and I tell you that is, if I tell you that, I'll never look you in the face again. But those that understood him, that is, if I tell you that, I'll never look you in the face again. But those that understood him, that means Casca is saying in a way that he hasn't understood. And Casca is such a character. He loves to show that he doesn't know anything, he is very ignorant, and he can barely understand things, and he is not very learned. Casca loves to say that. Now, but those who understood him smiled at one another and shook their heads. They smiled at one another and they shook their heads. But for mine own part, it was Greek to me. Here, Greek is something which he could not understand. That is, we frequently say that when we cannot understand something, oh, it's Greek, we cannot understand. Then we say that, yes. So, Casca is behaving exactly in that way and saying that, well, it was Greek to me. I could tell you more news too. Marullus and Flavius, for pulling scarves off Caesar's images, are put to silence. That is, if we recollect from the first scene, where Marullus and Flavius, they are the tribunes, and they go around telling the commoners that they shouldn't be rejoicing at Caesar's triumph, and they should be remembering Pompey and they should be grateful to him. And they go around, they were just going to the Capitol, they went to the Capitol, and there they started pulling down scarves from Caesar's idols, all the decorations, the ceremonies, and they were put to they have been put to silence. That is, they have been killed. Okay. By, of course, Caesar's supporters. Fare you well. There was more foolery yet, if I could remember it. So this was all these acts, they were very foolish acts according to Cassius. And he says there was more foolery yet, if I can remember it. Cassius says, will you sup with me tonight, Casca? Supper. Sup is the short form of supper. That is, will you dine with me tonight, Casca? Casca says, no, I am promised forth. That is, no, I cannot accept your invitation today because I have already promised to go somewhere else to have dinner. Will you dine with me tomorrow, Casca? Aye, if I be alive. And your mind hold, that is, if I am alive, I can come. And if your mind hold, that is, you are feeling that you would want me to have supper with you, but if you continue sticking to your point, if you continue to sticking to what you have just said, your invitation, if you have extended the invitation that you have extended to me, and your dinner worth the eating, that is, if the dinner you serve me is worth eating, I'll definitely be there. Cassius says, good, I'll expect you. Casca, do so. Farewell both. Who are both here? Both are Cassius and Brutus. Brutus says, "What a blunt fellow is this grown to be. He was quick metal when he went to school. So is he now in it." So he says he was quick metal when he went to school. He was quite a genius when he used to be to school. But he's become a reasonably blunt fellow now. Cassius says, "So is he now in execution of any bold or noble enterprise. When he has undertaken a duty, a bold or noble enterprise, when execution means in carrying out certain orders, very tough orders, he is very smart. But, however, he puts on this tardy form." What is the tardy form? Tardy form is the shabby look, the unsmart look, and as if a very foolish look. I'm sorry. As if he cannot understand anything. I'm sorry. And he pretends to be not to be as educated as he is. Pretends to look and behave uneducated. That is what he does when he is handling a tough situation. He is but very smart at carrying out the orders and implementing whatever task he has been entitled to. This rudeness is a source to his good wit. That is, he explains that Casca is actually quite clever, and he is being rude so that people can understand that this they become interested in listening to him, in understanding the way he's presenting things. And when he explains certain things, he is not at all dim-witted. He is reasonably bright, but he behaves in this way, which gives men stomach to digest his words with better appetite. People take things better. People understand better whatever he is trying to serve, whatever he is trying to say. Cassius. I'm sorry, it's Brutus. "And so it is. For this time I will leave you. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, I will come home to you, or if you will come home to me, and I will wait for you." Cassius says, "I will do so. Till then, think of the world." Now exit Brutus, and at this, Cassius is the only one standing there. So he says, it's a soliloquy, he talks to himself, and he says, "Well, Brutus, thou art noble, yet I see thy honourable metal may be wrought from that it is disposed. Therefore 'tis meet that noble minds keep ever with their likes." That is, it is always true that noble minds should always keep with their own good. In a way, he says he's supporting the statements that birds of a feather flock together. That noble minds keep ever with their likes. For who so firm that cannot be seduced? Because people need to be very firm in order to stick to their own point. So people may not be as firm as that, and may lose his foothold when he mixes with people, with the lowly people. Caesar doth bear me hard. That is, Caesar, he doesn't like me that much as he does Brutus. Caesar doth bear me hard, but he loves Brutus. If I were Brutus now, and he were Cassius, he should not humor me. He should not be humoring me, making fun of me. I will this night in several hands. That is, he's thinking of making up some handwritten pamphlets, and in several hands, in at his windows throw, as if they came from several citizens. writings, all tending to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name. That is, he is planning to write about the qualities of Caesar, about the qualities of Brutus by the name of the citizens, of various citizens, and he's planning to throw those bits of paper through his window to him so that he becomes alert of the ideas which people have about him. But who's going to actually write it? It's Cassius who's going to write it. Do you think it's correct? It should be like this? No, it shouldn't be. Anyway, we're supposed to read it. He should not humor me. I will this night in several hands, in at his windows through, as if they came from several citizens, writings, all tending to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at indirectly. That is, people, as though they are aware that Caesar is trying to take over and try to dominate the society, and as if they want Brutus to be their leader. That is, in those bits of papers, they would like to put in their feelings and throw the papers into Brutus's house through the window. Writings all tending to the great opinion that Rome holds of his name, wherein obscurely Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at. Obscurely, indirectly, Caesar's ambition shall be glanced at, looked at. And after this, let Caesar seat him, sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure. Cassius says that either they can shake Caesar off his position, or else, if the alternative is true, that Caesar cannot be overthrown, then it is they who have to bear the worst days. They've got to tolerate the worst days. They've got to endure the worst days, or worst days endure. And after this, let Caesar seat him, sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure. Okay then, it's still here for today. That is, we finished Act 1 and Scene 2. We finished Act 1, Scene 2. We'll be starting with Scene 3 in the next class, in the next video class. And along with this, because the examinations are coming close, along with this, I will be talking about how to write out the answers to the small questions as well as to the reference to the context questions. Please do let me know if you have any doubt anywhere. Please listen to the full video, and please to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.